have children and the children never meet their father. You created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an internet, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and
It's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 773-846-3090.
Hi, my name is Sister Ebony Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday worship service from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/TomaNation2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302. Now I'm going to recite our opening. In the name of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansal, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Odumare, Eshu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all these names refer to the same one, Almighty Spirit, and it is to that essence which I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born in North America, and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flows through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I am going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2. We believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3. We believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic holy books were all black. Number 4. We believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5. We believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6. We believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7. We believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8. We believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a now objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9. We believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the Black communities of America and the world. Number 10. We believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11. We believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12. We believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the Black community of weapons, break up the Black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young Black males under the undercover code name Able 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Raheem Quased Oxen, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can't rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal properties, thereby creating jobs and/or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it. This flag of mine. Here's to the black of it. 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it. Oh, flag of mine. Here's to the green of it. Young men and women shall dream of it. Face shots and shells for it. Maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it. Colors bright and whole of it. Pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving it, this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday worship service. That's worship, WARSHIP. Come and be fed by God's messengers. We always invite you to join us each and every Sunday here at our headquarters at 838, West Marquette Road in the Inglewood community of Chicago, Illinois. If you would like more information about this lecture, any of our previous lectures, or you would like to receive an invitation for any of our upcoming events, you can always drop a comment if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or you can shoot us a text message at 773-846-3091. Once again, that's 773-846-3091. Also, if you enjoy the Toma Nation and what we bring to the table with us giving life-saving food in the form of lectures and prescriptions and all of these things that we provide to the community, you can always support our movement by shooting us a donation on Cash App at, what is it? It will be, I always forget it. It's going to be on the screen. We are a grassroots movement and every little bit helps. All right, I'm going to start out by reciting our opening. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and he who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amen-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansal, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari, and among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Olodumare, Ashu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, Almighty God, and it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those Black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are that lost 13 tribe born in North America and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the world flow through our veins. I greet you in the ancient yet holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Ashe, Ashe. Peace, brothers and sisters. The name of my lecture today is called The Currency of Captivity, the Price We Pay. If you've been following along with determination for the month of July, you know that we've been focused on a lot of issues that are very pertinent and are very real happening right now in the Black community. And when I say Black community, I don't just mean the Black community in Chicago. I mean Black communities all across the country. And the thing that's very interesting, if we go back and look at the kickoff lecture, Modern Day Lynching, that our founder, leader, teacher, and God, Minister Raheem, did. And he discussed the lynching happening with Black people being found hanging from trees and being ruled of suicide. He talked about the link between the tsunami of guns that are flooding the inner cities of America. And we have to look at this notion that, you know, people are saying, oh, you know, since Obama, you know, we don't see color, right? How many times do you see that, or someone actually says that? They're like, it's not about race anymore. It's about class. This is a class war. It's that everything's about class. It's not about race. Because as long as you got money, you're good, right? But we know that that's not the case. We know that is not the case. We know that in the past, as a tool for racial terror, that how white mobs would target store owners, they would target the preachers, they would target people who were in the community who were doing lots of good things for the community. They were targeting the people who were teaching their fellow Black people how to read. That wasn't an accident. That was by design. And the notion of using lynching as racial terror, of using lynching to spark fear in the hearts of Black people, that has not changed. And so when we transition from Minister Raheem's lecture about modern day lynching, and then when we go over to the lecture that I did last week about the new noose, and it wasn't just talking about lynching with Black people being found hanging from trees. It was talking about racial violence. It was talking about gun violence. It was talking about all of these things that are huge problems for Black people, and that the only way that we can do something collectively about it is to join together and to come up with collective solutions and collective strategies. Now, today, when we talk about the currency of captivity, the price we pay, we really have to look at, with everything that's going on, and when we look at the boycotts and all of the conversations that are being had by Black people across the country, we have to look at where our power lies. And I don't know if you noticed, but you know, mainstream media is not covering it. But if you are in the social media streets, honey, if you're in the social media streets and you see Black people boycotting Asian businesses still, Black people boycotting Target still, and you know, mainstream media tries to downplay it when Black people join together and do something collective, but we know that it's still happening. Because so let's look at the result of it. Look at the boycott of Target that's been going on. And look at, I'm pretty sure if you've been in the social media streets and you saw the Essence Fest and how empty it was, right? And when you look at how the owner of the Essence Fest tried to tell black people that, oh, you know, we've done we've done the job, and so to stop boycotting Target. Now you can see that the result was not like how the Essence Fest used to be. Now the Essence Fest used to be pop in, honey, okay? Now when you look at all the black people, like why they didn't go to Essence Fest, because somebody is telling them about stopping a boycott against a company that clearly, when all of the DEI programs were cut, that they just cut black products and black businesses wholesale, right? And so we have to be real about that. And there's a response to that. And black people are still boycotting Target. Still to this day, I'm still looking at people like, still ain't shocked at Target. Not one time since the boycott started. Now, let's look at the flip side of that. Let's look at this still uproar around black people calling for a boycott of Asian businesses. Now, this subject can be contentious for the black community and the non-black community, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, when we look at what happened when Rick Chow murdered Cyrus Carmack Belton, when he shot him in the back, where he chased him 120 yards outside of a store for stealing water that we know that he did not steal, right? Now, and the comparison that's been made to the 1991 murder of Latasha Harlins, who was also killed by an Asian store owner. Now, when black people call for a boycott of Asian businesses related to this murder of this black boy, this black child who had his whole life ahead of him, when we look at the reasoning behind it, and there's been a lot of talk around when the video was released, the surveillance footage, right? And how it shows Rick Chow's wife following that boy around the store. If you're a black person, you've experienced that. When you've gone into a store, it doesn't matter if it was an Asian-owned store. It doesn't matter if you was in Walmart. It doesn't matter if you was in CVS. It doesn't matter where you were. But almost every black person has been in a situation where they've been in the store and somebody has followed them around the store. Like, just know, oh, they're going to steal. And some of us have been in a situation where we've been in the store and we're the ones being followed around the store, but then we can look over and see people who are stealing and it's not us. They'd be so focused on us that they don't even see what's really going on. I was watching a video of this black lady, and she was in the store. Do you know the person who was stealing in the aisle, stuffing stuff in his book bag, stuffing stuff in his book bag? It was a white man. Did they see him or they catch him? Nope. He stuffed his stuff in his book bag, put that backpack on his back, and just walked out the door like he was living his best life. Now, we also have to understand when we're being followed around these stores that if our skin color was a different shade, then that would not be the case. And so when you look at the video of Cyrus being followed around the store, that woman was so close to him, she knew he didn't steal no water. She was that close to him. If she would have said, he would have felt it. Now then, to turn that around and say that you shot him to protect your son, that's a whole lot of garbage. Now, it can be decisive in our community because we have a selective memory when we talk about boycotting whole businesses. Now, we know that was the case with this boycott of Asian businesses because we had some Black people who were for it. We had some Black people saying, oh, don't punish all Asian businesses for what one Asian business owner did. But see, here's the thing. This is nothing new for us in the Black community. This is nothing new. How many stories did we see of Asian nail salons beating on Black women? I remember we had one here that happened in Chicago that I believe was on 47th by the Green Line. If you're familiar with Chicago, 47th by the Green Line. And I remember my mom was just talking about this, where they went and they I think they bust the windows out, like they was not playing with them business owners. And so where the business had it had closed for a long time, and then they had reopened it with a new name or something some months later. But I remember because there was such outrage over what was going on of an Asian business owner beating on a Black woman. Now, we know here in America, and we can just be real with this, when we're talking about dealing with the Asian community, that many members of the Asian community see being as close to white as possible their goal. It doesn't matter if you're Chinese, it doesn't matter if you're Filipino, it doesn't matter if you're Korean. I hate to be I'm gonna say the majority. I'm not gonna say all, but the majority of them, the whiter you are, the better you are. This is why they wear sunshades, because they don't want to get dark from the sun. This is why, when their own people are working outside and they get a tan, where they're looked down on, because anything that's not ivory white, pure white, they don't like it. Now, when you connect that to white supremacy, and we look at how so many Asian immigrants were able to come over to America with the help of who? Who helped them and who fought for them? Take a guess. Black people. So that saying that I mentioned last week, that Black people have no friends, it is very true. It is very, very true. And when you look at all of the boo-hoo and the crying now because Black people are still boycotting Asian businesses, what does that tell you about our dollar and the power of our dollar? Tells you a lot, doesn't it? Because we have to look at, there's a reason why it's easier for an Asian-owned business to come in our community and set up shop than it is for us to be able to open up our own businesses in our own communities where we live, where we worship, where our kids go to school. There's a reason for that. And so when you look at how, when we make a decision to not support a group of businesses, it's not racist. And I need us to get that through our head. It's not racist. Why? Because we've all had those experiences, especially if you are a Black person living in the inner city of any city of America. We've all had those experiences. Our family has had those experiences. Because some of these experiences didn't just happen to us. Some of these experiences are generational. And so when we look at the call for boycotting businesses, this is real. Because we have to look at what benefits do they get from opening up businesses in our communities. They get to send their kids to college off of the dollar of Black people. They get to open up other businesses off of the dollar of Black people. They get to retire off of the dollar of Black people and be able to pass that business on to the next generation. Now, while we're still having our dollar, can't even spend a whole 24 hours in our community because it's going to build other people up. It's going to support other families. And we have to be real about that. And so when we look at this topic of the economics, it's a long conversation. And we've done this, we've talked about economics before. And that notion of economics is the highest form of warfare. So when we're looking at the currency of captivity, the price we pay, we pay a huge price, because we have to look at, let's look at the nation. What does every nation understand? What language does every nation understand? Take a guess. Is it that we all have to speak the same language? What happens if you go to China and you don't speak Chinese? What happens if you come to the United States and you don't speak English? What happens if you go to France and you don't speak French? But what does everybody speak? That almighty dollar. That's the currency I'm talking about. That's the language I'm talking about. It's something that's spoken with our words. It don't need to be translated with interpreters. And it's recognized in every generation. And that almighty dollar links to the language of what? Economics. And when you look at, when we talk here at Toma Nation, when we talk about how we are at war because we know that we have no friends, and we know what's going on in our communities is not an accident, that it's by design. So if you look at this concept of circulating the black dollar, you can look at any of Dr. Claude Anderson books. You can look at Dr. Webb Evans books. You can look at any of their previous talks or lectures. And they talk about circulating the black dollar and supporting black businesses, and why this is so important. Because for some reason, I forgot how Minister Raheem says it. It is ingrained in some of us that as long as somebody else made it, that it's superior products. What does Minister Raheem say? That the white man's Snicker tastes better than the black man's Snicker. And that's very, very true. Because when we bring up this topic every year about circulating the black dollar and supporting black-owned businesses, there's always somebody with something negative to say. Is supporting black-owned businesses racist? Not at all. Do any other group of people who support their own businesses and their communities, do they view it as racist? I don't think so. They view it as supporting their community, helping to seed other businesses, helping to seed wealth for their families and other families. And I just had to say that because this is a real issue for us. I'm gonna read a scripture from Proverbs 11, verse 24. There is that scattereth and yet increaseth, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but it tendeth to poverty. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself where your paycheck goes after payday? It don't matter if you still picking up a paper check and you gotta go cash it, or if you getting the direct deposit. Where does your paycheck go after payday? Not where you spend it, but where does your money end up? Because those are two different questions. Now think about it. Does your money go into the black community? Does your money sleep in the black community? Does it rest in our neighborhoods? Does it build institutions in our neighborhoods? Does it finance the future of black children? Not at all. Because I want you to listen to this. Every Friday, millions of black Americans wake up before sunrise. Nurses change dressings, teachers prepare lesson plans, truck drivers haul freight across state lines, construction workers pour concrete, entrepreneurs unlock storefronts, Parents work overtime. College students balance classes with jobs. Home health aides care for the elderly. Factory workers keep assembly lines moving. By the end of the week, billions of dollars have been earned through the labor, creativity, intelligence, and perseverance of Black people. So that goes to the question is not where we earn our money. The question is where that money sleeps. Does it rest in our neighborhoods? Y'all know the answer to that. Money behaves like water. When a river continually flows into a community, but immediately drains away, the land immediately becomes what? Dry. Minister Raheem gave an analogy when he said that money is like blood. In order for you to be alive, your blood has to do what? Circulate. So if money is the lifeblood of the Black community and that money is not circulating, what happens to the community? If your blood does not circulate in your body, what happens? What's the first thing that happens? People who have diabetes experience this. When your blood is not circulating, you have bad circulation, what can you get? Gangrene. What does gangrene do to your limbs? It kills them, right? Everything becomes black. Your fingers, your toes, your legs, your arms, it becomes dead. It cannot be revived. And then what happens with, and they also call it necrotic. What happens with necrotic tissue? It has to be what? Cut off. This is why we have so many people who have diabetes who are getting amputations. So what happens to a community that does not have the lifeblood of money flowing and circulating in the community? It what? It deteriorates. We can go to any Black community in any inner city of America. It don't matter if we in Chicago. It don't matter if we in New York. It don't matter if we in Los Angeles. It don't matter if we in Houston. It don't matter if we in Atlanta. It don't matter if we in Jacksonville. It don't matter where we are. But because the Black dollar is not circulating, our communities are in a state of disrepair. And we can talk about disinvestment. Disinvestment is by design. If we think that white people are going to come and save us, if we think that white people are going to come and build our communities, that doesn't happen. When they are coming in our communities and rebuilding blocks and champion for grocery stores and businesses that they like, that's not for us. That's for them. And that's called gentrification. We know what gentrification is. We see gentrification. We can look at communities like Woodlawn. We can look at communities like Bronzeville. These Black communities that have such heritage and such legacy that's being taken over by people who don't look like them. And that's by design. And we have nobody to blame for ourselves. Because if we know how white supremacy is in this country, and we understand who our enemy is, then we also have to realize that white people are not our friends. They've never been our friends. And it's something to say when we be like, oh, our allies, our allies, our allies. What is the definition of an ally? We have several non-Black people that are not our friends. And they all are benefiting from white supremacy because they all want to put their foot on the neck of Black people. And we as a people, we got to be fed up with that. Because they're also benefiting. Multinational corporations are in our community. They do the same thing to us. Disrespectful. We walk in the store, they follow us around the store like we're criminals. And then what do? The next day, we go right back to that same business. The next day, we go and support that same business. And then we want to complain that, oh, the prices in the Black business are too high. We want to complain that, oh, we didn't get the customer service experience that we desired in a Black business. Dr. Webb Evans was known for going out his way to support Black businesses. It didn't matter if the Black business was down the street. It didn't matter if the Black business was the state over in Indiana. If it was a Black business, Dr. Webb supported it. And you have to look at, do we give Black businesses the same chances we give non-Black businesses? When you go in Walmart and it's dirty and stuff is in disarray and the people be rude, do that stop you from going back to that Walmart? When you go in Family Dollar and they got boxes stacked to the ceiling and you got to practically move boxes to get what you're looking for, and the people have a nasty attitude and the store is dirty, does that stop you from going back in that Family Dollar? Does that stop you from going back to that Dollar Tree or that Dollar General? Does that stop you from going back to that Arab-owned corner store or that Latino-owned corner store? Tis not. We got stores in our community. I'm trying to say this the most way that does not sound. We have stores in our community that sell raw meats. And they sell us food that they wouldn't eat themselves, that they wouldn't even feed to their worst enemy. Where you go in the store and the store smells. Now, if you're going in the grocery store and it stinks, some should be like, I think I might want to try to go somewhere else. But understanding that some of us, because we're living in food oppressed communities, and that may be the only store that your babies ran out of milk for their morning cereal, and that may be the only store in walking distance where you can go get some milk. And you might not have, and some people might say, oh, well, do an online order. What if you have no cash? What if you feed your babies off a link? And what if you have no cash to pay anything else? What you supposed to do? It is by design that we have a lack of Black-owned grocery stores in our community. It is by design that we have limited choices in our community because we are not controlling what's coming in our community. Let's look at, for example, I'm gonna give you this example. Oh, and I didn't realize it was 1 o'clock. I haven't even really gotten to the meaty part of my lecture. If you like what you're hearing and you would like a part 2 of this lecture, do drop us a comment if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or shoot us a text at 773-846-3091. I'm gonna give you a prime example. When we talk about economics and we talk about economic power, look at how many clothing stores it is in the Black community. You got the DOTRs, you got the Connections, you got all of these stores that sell clothes. You got the Rainbows. You know, you got even you got the Dollars, Family Dollar, selling clothes. And when we look at, I'm not trying to get another topic. So say, for example, we talk about inappropriate clothing for children. Something that says, a little girl wearing a shirt that says juicy across the chest, or any other inappropriate words that we find that these children in our community are wearing. Who determines what clothing is in the stores? Is it us? It is not. Once again, people who don't look like us are making decisions about what we can have access to. That's what I was just talking about with food. And so when you look at, you're in the community and you're looking for something for your children to wear, why are so many things so short, sexualizing young Black girls with words, or the cut of the fabric is inappropriate for a child. And notice I'm saying a child to wear, not a young woman, a child. And when we look at this, and do these businesses exist in non-Black communities? And in non-Black communities, what kind of clothing do they have for their children? It's the same thing when we talked about stop the killing, start the building. And we talked about these toy guns in stores in the Black community. And Minister Raheem brought up the point where, why is it the toys in our community have all of these different kinds of guns, but when you go in white communities, they may have a Rambo or Army kind of style gun, but they also got lightsabers. They got Harry Potter ones. They got all of these other things that children play with, that young people play with. It's not all guns, 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 guns. And not just guns, but also guns, toy guns that resemble real guns. Have we not had enough of a child playing with a toy gun and it's used as an excuse to murder them? These are the real things that we're facing in our community. And I really haven't even, I'm going to go for a couple more minutes, but I really haven't even got into the real nitty gritty of this lecture, because this is a conversation that we need to have. Because when we're talking about coming together and we're talking about having unity, it doesn't matter if you're a Black person in Chicago, it doesn't matter where you find yourself in America as a Black person. Like when we're talking about coming together, what can we do locally? What can we do on a national scene? We really have to have these conversations, because this isn't new. This conversation that I'm having with you isn't new. This conversation has been being had. We were warned already by Dr. Claude Anderson about getting ourselves together, because we were going to be worse in a worse financial situation. And when I say worse financial situation, I mean collectively. I don't want to hear, I know such and such and they're a millionaire. I don't want to hear, I know such and such and they got a business and they're a millionaire. I don't want to hear, I know, what about the athletes? What about the artists? I said collectively, as a whole. And that's the thing, when I talked about white supremacy earlier, it doesn't matter if you're a Black person with money or if you're a Black person without money. White supremacy doesn't go away. And this is something that we've been talking about for a while. Now, I'm going to share, hold on a second. I'm going to share two more things, and then I'm going to get ready to close out. Like I said, if you like this lecture or want any information on any of our previous lectures, always feel free to shoot us a comment on Facebook or YouTube, or shoot us a text at 773-846-3091. Okay, I'm going to read Mark chapter 8, verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So when we talk about the currency of captivity, we also have to talk about the billion-dollar business of Black identity. Why? Because Black identity, Black culture has been for sale. It's up for consumption. Non-Black people consume us on a daily basis. Because why? The world loves Black culture. Non-Black people love Black culture. Right? When I say the world loves Black culture, It buys Black culture, it streams Black culture, it imitates Black culture, it monetizes Black culture, it advertises with Black culture, it dances to Black culture, it dresses like Black culture, it speaks in the language of Black culture. But does it invest in Black ownership? Does it support Black communities? It does not. Because the world, non-Black people treat us as a consumable, something to be consumed and then thrown away and then discarded. And so when we go into part 2 of this lecture, and we're talking about the currency of captivity and the price that we pay, we really have to have a conversation about the monetization of Black culture and what we are doing as a group, what we are doing as a people. And when I say the monetization of Black culture, it doesn't matter where you look. It doesn't matter if you look at the Koreans. It doesn't matter if you look at the white people. It doesn't matter if you look at the Latinos. Everybody is consuming Black culture. Everybody is monetizing Black culture. But yet, we are under the economic bottom in this country. So make that make sense. So I will be continuing this conversation in my next lecture. Like I said, if you would like more information about how to join the Toma Nation or to join us live here at our headquarters at 838 West Marquette Road in the Inglewood community of Chicago, Illinois, drop us a comment on Facebook or YouTube, or send us a text at 773-846-3091. Thank you so much for joining us for our weekly Sunday worship service. Also, if you would like to support our grassroots movement, you can give us a donation at $Toma Nation Chicago 13 on Cash App. All of our work is not supported by grants. Our leader teacher and God founded this movement to be a community-based, a grassroots Black righteous movement. And so any dollar, any support helps us continue our mission. Thank you so much for joining us, and have an awesome and amazing day.